Hi there, my name is Kay Moon, and I'm a Western astrologer and Twin Flame channel, and this is a video about the new moon in Taurus that took place on May 7th at 11:21 p.m. if you happen to be on the eastern seaboard of the United States. Please check a time zone converter for your local time. First off, I would like to provide a big thank you to everyone who was very patient and allowing me to come back to lunar updates at this time. There were some things that I needed to take care of offline that I dealt with. And now that those items are complete, we can get back to our regular programming and schedule. I also want to share that if you joined me for the Lightworker Energy update first, then you're already aware that this new moon, as well as the next few lunations, I'm going to try something different and experiment with adding in interpretation for all 12 signs right after the interpretation for the lunation itself. So you're welcome to share what you think about that, how you like that in the comment section below that video. Definitely have a listen for your sun, moon, and rising and that of your loved ones so you can get a sense of how the energy may impact everyone in your world. And I'm considering, let me know if you would like this in the comment section. I'm considering adding in the in-between weeks, the additional information that I would have provided with all the other planetary movement at each lunation. So if you're feeling that and that's something you still want to hear about, then just let me know in the comments. I'll also provide a poll after I have done it a few times to get a sense how the community at large likes the new format. And if it's a green light, then we'll keep it. If it's not, we'll go back to what we used to do. But this new moon in Taurus is a really big one for doing new things for all of us. And we'll talk about this for twin flames in particular. But this is a new thing that is definitely unfolding, and I'm feeling really guided to do. Okay. Those of you who are familiar with the twin flame coaches, Lee and Sherry Patterson, they could use our help. So on Monday evening, they lost their home to a house fire. Both of them and their son did make it out, but they did lose one of their fur babies. And Sherry, as far as I know at the time of this recording, is still recovering in the hospital from some burns, and both of them are trying to figure out what's next. They've outlined some ways that you can contribute to their recovery on their community page and Instagram. And I have posted on my community page as well. So if you're guided to go beyond thoughts and prayers, even the smallest amount of anything can be helpful as it all adds up. Lastly, the May reading calendar is open. So if you'd like to take a deep dive on how you can use this energy personally and you're feeling some real newness unfolding in your twin flame connection, feel free to book with me over at kmoonastro.com so you can understand what this newness means and how you personally are being prompted to use it. Link is below this video. So here is our new moon in Taurus right here. And it is conjunct Uranus and Jupiter. It is also sextile Saturn and Pisces. It is trine Ceres and Capricorn. Here's Ceres, and sextile Vesta and Cancer. It is also trine Lilith there inside of Virgo. In a quick summation, this new moon promises to be a new moon to remember with the amount of transformative potential it holds for our lives. Because the new moon is conjunct the bringer of quantum leaps, that's Uranus here, the original divine counterpart, and the bringer of expansion and opportunity, that's Jupiter, the divine masculine counterpart. There's a lot of newness unfolding in the twin flame grids at this time, and it may feel very unsettling, ungrounding, because it is unfamiliar to most people. Because this newness is unfamiliar, it is stretching all of us outside of our comfort zone in a way that is necessary for us to transcend patterns of toxicity, old seasons of separation, old stories around divine connection and counterpartship. So, bear with me. I'm going to break it down for both the divine masculine energetic field, the divine feminine energetic field, and what it means for us as union bound pairs. Okay. You may find that there's a lot of step skipping in this energy, and there's manifestation, rapid manifestation of a lot of our heart's desires in this energy. There's a gifting in this energy that's helping us move into our desired realities relatively quickly if we understand how to use this energy for manifestation. The challenge is being in a position to leave behind the old life we once knew and step into the life we want cleanly. In other words, we have to be able to answer the question, what do you want? Are you comfortable with what you want, with having your wishes fulfilled? This will be the trick to using this energy positively. For a fuller perspective, I invite you to have a listen to the Lightworker Energy Update, as well as breakdown for this lunation, where I really go into what's Lilith mean for this, what's Ceres bringing to it, how does Saturn play a role, and Vesta. Have a listen to that first, and then come back to this. The sun, moon, and rising will also be there for you and for your counterpart. So if you want to have a listen to that for deeper individualized meaning, you can. One of the things that really stands out to me as we are looking at this, actually, there's so much. Like, I could go into so much detail with this. So stay tuned. I may do a live next week. If you guys want to do a live about this energy and specifically about all this other energy, like Chiron conjunct Mercury, and what it means collectively for Venus and Mars to be in conjunction, let me know, because these are things I would have talked about, but I'm just not, I'm chose to focus on all 12 signs for some greater individualization. But we can talk about this stuff next week because there's more, and I'm sure you guys have questions about this energy. But let's get into what this means for Juno, our divine feminine energy in this lunation. So she's at the 7th degree of Virgo. She's making a trine aspect to Venus, her lower octave to Pholus, who specifically deals with toxicity and poisons, and a sextile here to Vesta here. Okay, so this energy for the divine feminine fields is inviting us into a deeper look at where certain structures we've been party to have become toxic for us. Now, for some, this is going to present itself as being in the wrong place at the wrong time. There's just no other way to say it with Pholus involved, like literally being collateral damage to toxic structures or poisonous systems. Now, for others, this is going to be some revelation about how the entire structure of your life and the connection that you are in with your counterpart must change for you to be able to participate in it in a way that's life giving to you. With Pholus, there's always some lesson about releasing what we've outgrown, what no longer serves us, but that release is a function of having an outer manifestation that may be humbling, uncomfortable, painful. For some, even closure making and requiring a full ending of something that was previously a central or foundational part of your life. Okay. The gift in this is whether we are ready or not, there's an opportunity for up level here. If we can boldly face the habits, patterns, and routines, that's Juno and Virgo. Virgo's all about those habits, patterns, and routines in our loving that we've outgrown and that no longer suit us. Maybe you've been a doormat. Maybe you've been, cold and manipulative and letting the other person do all the work. Two extremes, but you get the idea. Where we can boldly face the habits, patterns, and routines in our loving that we've outgrown and that no longer suit us and adopt ways of loving that are more life giving, we have the chance to establish the kind of love we've always desired. This is going to take some discernment with the divine feminine energy in Virgo. There's a broader scale self examination unfolding here that can be a little challenging to engage with. This energy has a tone to it that calls us out on where we've brought our woundedness to love and then expected someone else to facilitate healing, or wondered why love wasn't working out for us when it was our own perspectives, our own behaviors that were undermining the life of the connection to begin with. Like I said, this can be a very humbling energy. So, as you need to, take your time, allowing the revelations of this new moon to show you the version of you you're ready to lay to rest for the benefit of an elevated love life. Take your time noticing where the structures of your life are not benefiting you, but instead are actually costing you life force, energy, time, money. Pay attention to what you've been participating in or allowed yourself to be subject to that has killed off or poisoned your ability to truly live from the desires of your heart. Notice where your presence and participation has facilitated your own oppression and disenfranchisement, especially when it comes to love and connection. Now, for some, this is going to be revelation about a contract or agreement that your life requires you to liberate yourself from if you're ever going to truly live. For others, this is going to be about a job that you hoped would help you access your dreams, but has actually bled them dry. And for a small few, you know who you are. This is going to be a self sacrificial journey into imploding the existing power structures that foster the disempowerment of women on the whole. For most in, I would say, unbalanced divine feminine energy, if you identify in some level of exclusively divine feminine energy, where I am the divine feminine and they are the divine masculine. I don't resonate with anything you share, K Moon, about the masculine energy fields. I only ever resonate with the feminine energy fields. For those of you who are in that place, this is going to be a time where the masculine energy fields could have balanced you out, but for whatever reason, either for the lesson or the leadership in your life at this moment, you're only in divine feminine energy. We all have seasons of that where we operate at those extremes, and they are separation heavy, those extremes. We want that integrated energy if we're wanting a union experience. But if you're at that extreme, there's a lot of sacrificial energy here where you may be called to give up something, a home, a job, something foundational. That's Capricorn, all about foundations and structures, in order for your life to be able to expand. Now, like I said, for a small few of you, and you know who you are, this is going to be, like I said, a self sacrificial journey into imploding existing power structures that foster the disempowerment of the feminine. Now, I know that's a very dark thing to say. It's also very unlike me. I wrestled with even sharing that interpretation. But I've spoken to several of you on this particular path at this time whose life stream and body are on the altar in a way that has the potential to shift the structures for all through your activism and precedence. With Folis, the underlying story is always about sacrifice. So I want to make a big distinction here for those of you on this path to deepen your validation and understanding of what you're experiencing. Self-sacrifice for others' well-being in modern times has become a fur coat of the ego, a party hat. It's often something undertaken in unnecessary circumstances for the fulfillment of some personal validation and ability to say, I'm a good person. See, look what I sacrificed. I gave this up so somebody else could have something in a way that was likely unnecessary and egotistical. Whether people do it for their family, for their job, some people do it for their kids, their community, or their neighbors, or their church, or their partner. Sacrifice in this capacity is rarely what other people need. And it's often about the sacrificer and what they get out of feeling like a good person. Most times in the modern world, your unhappiness and sacrifice of your happiness is not required for other people to have a good life. There are many ways, opportunities, and configurations for there to be win, win, win situations where no sacrifice is required on anyone's behalf. So when we see this egotistical sacrifice be offered, we understand that it has nothing to do with actually assisting somebody else. It has more to do with assisting yourself, with feeling justified, with being a good person. However, the kind and quality of sacrifice that this lunation speaks of, and the people I'm speaking to with this segment of message, are those who have quietly taken on large institutions, that's Capricorn, legal precedents, governments, banks, etc., everything that Capricorn represents for the purposes of rewriting history through the platform of their own life stream. Again, you know who you are. And this segment of this message today is to let you know the universe sees you. The tablets of time are remarking your story. You are not alone. Thank you. Keep listening to your inner guidance. Trust your inner authority on what's right and what's wrong. And know that in this energy of this moment, your will is bending the earth to your cause. Even if you can't see it, keep going. Now, for all of us with divine feminine energy, it will be imperative to get the tools and support you need to forgive yourself and any others involved. Release. In the vast majority of cases with regard to this energy, this is a forgive them, they know not what they do opportunity. Many of the people you need to rewrite things with at this time inherited a systematic mindset, value set, and behavioral set that has gone unexamined and understood as just the way things are. So now that you are embarking and changing it, or you're waking up to the way it doesn't serve you and disentangling yourself from your own participation in these systems, letting go of sacrifice at your expense, you're likely going to see what you'd see from a person who's had the rug pulled out from under them. Shock, upset, anger, blame, and denial as you change the script. You may encounter a complete unwillingness to understand you and where you're coming from as you attempt to rebalance the scales more fairly and even more justly, I'd say, with Uranus conjunct the new moon. Again, keep going and forgive them. In the vast majority of cases, they know not what they do. Now, for those who are in a solidified connection in the third dimension, you may find that the two of you move through this period and have some hiccups or mishaps unfold that point to a need to shore up foundations in your 3D life together. Where the structures of your life have sustained you at your previous level of living and loving, and that previous level of living and loving has led to some sort of compromise to the feminine energy in both people. You'll find that there's a call at this time to move to the next level that could come in some unexpected, surprising ways, and some previously reliable structures of your life suddenly coming undone. For those who identify as being in some format of separation, you may notice that your experience has more distance, more striation than it did in the first 4 months of this year. As the union window we all experienced the last 2 years closes, we get more spaciousness and breathability in the connection that is going to allow us to integrate the access point for union we all have until the next union window opens. And that access point is union with self. You'll find the divine feminine energy fields hold a major growth and self-reflection energy at this time. Much of it catalyzed by outer world circumstances, placing a demand on us to disentangle ourselves from structures of compromise and toxicity. Okay. And we certainly, I won't get too political, but some examples of this is in world news. It strikes me that literally within the last 24 hours or within 24 hours of one another in the last 72 hours of this recording, in the pageant world, Miss USA and Miss Teen USA both surrendered their titles. Now, if you've never participated in the pageant world or watched any pageantry shows, um, getting those titles takes an amount of dedication and work over years that places a tremendous demand on the mind, the spirit, and the body of the participants. A lot of it, um, you know, historically, they've been about quote unquote the looks and the body. But I would say maybe in the last 30 or so years, this has become more and more and more about the person and the character and their story and impact in the world. But for both of these to surrender their titles within 24 hours of one another is remarkable. The first cited mental health reasons, and the second stated that the direction of the organization was no longer aligned with her personal values. Also, in the last week, Stormy Daniels took the stand to testify against former US President Donald Trump in a trial about being paid for her silence about sexual misconduct and extramarital affairs. And in the last 2 weeks leading up to this moment, we also saw the presiding judge overturn Harvey Weinstein's rape conviction from 2018 in the court case of a century. What all of these events surrounding feminine energies have in common is revelation about where the existing power and organizational structures, again, that's Capricorn, the old guard, the tradition, are inherently built in a way that undermine the feminine's power, equitable access to resources, and well being. The exposure of this toxicity, and that's Pholus, in the system is a zeitgeist flashpoint and a post Me Too series of zeitgeist flashpoints that showcase the strides made for women's rights, access to power, control over their own physical health and safety, while simultaneously highlighting how far we have to go to secure true cultural change that permeates the institutional and governance levels of our lives. We still have a long way to go. Now, it's no accident that all of this is unfolding when we have such a once in a lifetime confluence of energies unfolding in the first feminine sign of the zodiac, that's Taurus, in a way that features divine masculine energy and the original divine counterpart, that's Uranus. These collective experiences are part of what's fostering a deep change in the divine masculine energy fields in a positive way. Okay. Before we get into it, if you'd like to have a look at how to reset the frequency of your connection with your counterpart, even reset the structure of uh, the foundation of structures in your life when it comes to inclusion of your own feminine energy. If you're seeing that participation in structures have undermined your well being and connection, and you need guidance on how to create new balance for this next chapter, then let's talk. You can book a personal reading with me over at kmoonastro.com. In it, we can talk about your connection, your access point to union energies, what has to shift on your side to recalibrate your connection for deeper union with self, counterpart, source, soul group, and mission. We can also illuminate the timing of your personal union windows before the next collective union window opens. So if this is something that piques your interest, now's the perfect time to book. The link to the booking page is in the description box below. But now let's look at the divine masculine energy, Jupiter at this lunation, who's playing a starring role in this new moon. So we have Jupiter conjunct Uranus. As I said, Uranus is the original divine counterpart, the divine counterpart of Gaia. And we have a conjunction to the new moon right here, also in Taurus. Taurus being that first feminine sign of the zodiac, sign that governs our comfort zone and the desires of our heart. We see a sextile to Saturn as well, a trine to Ceres here, which deals with seasons. Saturn deals with discipline, focus, and work ethic. We also see trine to Lilith here. This energy is opening up some major rewrites in the divine masculine energetic fields that integrate an access to feminine energy for a unified and more balanced feminine and masculine energy in the masculine form. This energetic opening is fostering an extraordinary access to feminine creativity through magnetism, attracting, receiving, and allowing in the divine masculine fields. This is definitely a new vibe. And for those who occupy the majority divine masculine energy in your connection, as opposed to a more balanced masculine and feminine, this may cause a little bit of a sense of groundlessness or even cause you to label what you're experiencing as feeling lazy or feeling unfocused or disinterested. But the truth here is that you are coming into a more balanced masculine energy away from the in the timeline where you're listening to this and able to hear my voice, away from what the zeitgeist calls quote unquote toxic masculine energy, you are moving into a more balanced masculine energy that's enhancing your capacity to lead as a masculine energy here on earth. Rather than judge this opening and this transition, this is a chance to explore it, be in the noticing, explore the ways that desire fosters rapid manifestation. Allow all and notice the benefit in all. While disorienting, this has the chance to be very revealing in the way you interact with feminine energy and even reveal a few things about the connection in the process that will be key for its elevation as we step into this period between union windows, which allows us to cultivate union through the gateway of the self. Now, ultimately, what this amounts to is a rewrite in the divine masculine energetic fields unfolding about the constructs of man, manhood, maleness, and masculinity. This rewrite has been ongoing for a long period of time. There have been many of the uh, embodied souls on planet Earth who identify as female to male, transgender. They have been those on the leading front of this transformation in redefining what it means to be man by stepping into from having been experienced in their life stream the oppression of women, what it means to be in a feminine body, all of the lack of access that females and women have, stepping into from that vantage point, the vantage point of being a man without ever having walked in the shoes of the privilege of that from childhood. And so, having that unique vantage point, many of our trans brothers and sisters have opened up the gateway for a rewrite around what it means to be man. Now we are seeing the cis, the bio, gendered male, the assigned male at birth males follow that trailblazing pathway and go, hey, 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 post 2018, post Me Too movement, I'm not like those guys that women have pointed fingers at. I know those men, but I'm not those men. So now there's a reclamation of what it means to be man unfolding as we see the divine masculine conjunct with Uranus, the change maker and upleveler, and the first feminine sign of the zodiac. There's a revolution unfolding in the world of masculinity. And when it comes to how do we define what it means to stand in leadership and light as a man. So we're seeing this catching up unfolding and a redefinition of manhood through this energy, which is really exciting, really exciting. I'm floored, humbled, flabbergasted, awed to be able to witness this in real time in this timeline. We're going to see that the words man, manhood, maleness, masculinity, as the divine masculine energetic field steps into this transformation and change, those words are not going to mean what they previously meant after this new construction is complete for humanity. And the codes and templates are being created specifically through the divine masculine energy fields. It's in on the body of the divine masculine, the altar of the divine masculine body, that this thing is unfolding. There is also an acceleration here in the divine masculine energy fields with regard to the fulfillment of the desires of your heart and getting comfortable with what you have and the experience of enoughness. If you've never been familiar with the experience of enoughness, this may prove challenging for you if you've lived a life of hunger, striving, yearning. So it's going to be a great exercise to experience contentedness in the midst of all of the atmospheric stimulation available in the collective fields with this new moon, because there's much provoking with Uranus in play at this new moon that's specifically activating people who've been stuck to finally make a move. Okay. Additionally, this acceleration toward fulfillment is going to recalibrate the compass of many who inhabit divine masculine energy. The magnetics of your personal true north are being reset through this energy. And this is why it may be feeling so disorienting. What used to feel true, what used to feel right, what used to be the definition of right and wrong, the moral calibration for what it means to be a man, all of that is getting rewritten. And so, with so much of that shifting and there being a truth inside the heart of each person, male, female, any gender in between, around what is divine masculine energy? What does it truly mean? This truth is going to start to come out in our life streams, giving us permission to begin to redefine malehood, manhood, masculinity for the better, releasing all of the toxicity previously inherent in the last chapter. Further, oh my gosh, there's so much happening. This new moon for the divine masculine energetic fields can evoke a sense of heightened manifestation ability in general, and you may feel a bit sleepless and challenged to take things slow. There may be a sense of, I got to do everything all at once, and restlessness. So, if for you, all this allowingness and magnetism is bringing your heart's desires into form rather quickly, and you just need to get through harnessing all of it, do it, run with it. Do what you got to do to grab hold of the things coming your way so that you can enjoy them and integrate them into your life stream accordingly. Last interpretation that could be experienced with this energy is a deep seated transformation in terms of your identity and profound inner growth in regard to what you want, what you're drawn to, due to a major elevation of your self worth, self esteem, and self perception. When, for example, you have been raised, let's say, in poverty, what you want and your self-worth and your self-esteem are can be very oriented toward striving to have, striving to acquire, striving to feel worthy enough to participate in life's goodness because it has been held back from you maybe for decades of your life stream. In an energy like this, you can find that your life stream has changed to such a degree that striving for the outer trappings of maybe wealth or the visible signs of having made it or having arrived can no longer be attractive to you because been there, check, done that, check, all set. So, what you're drawn to can shift now as you step into a new identity, new self worth, new sense of havingness through this new moon. And so, because so much is changing within you all at once, as previously mentioned, there can be a sense of groundlessness, formlessness, as the past almost seems to get discharged, as in free of any of its charge that it previously held for you, so that you're liberated to want new things now in the present. If you're in a connection that is solidified in the third dimension and consider yourself in some format of union, you may have noticed any of the above unfolding for both counterparts and some level of new dimension to the connection itself, allowing you both significantly deeper fulfillment with one another and in your lives. You may have also noticed that if you've not been intentional about manifesting the desires of your heart, there could be some unintended surprises unfolding at this time. You may notice some acceleration and pulling on both of your energies toward new experiences, an enhanced understanding of what a comfort zone is for you and stretching you out of your previous comfort zone. And for some, this could even incorporate or include an uptick in your sex lives as you experiment with some new desires and some new sensual pleasures. Okay. Um, all of this is about, for those of you who identify in some format of union, allowing new, letting your partner be new. So what? They used to like, cereal every morning. Maybe now they have grown into wanting eggs. Like they're changing. And this change is going to be a good thing that will benefit both of you. Let the changes be and let your partner explore their changes organically without needing to put your influence all over them. Give yourself permission to explore your changes organically without letting someone else try to put their inputs and influence all over it. If you have found that your security and connection comes from the other person being something predictable to you, you're going to find that that need in you is going to cause problems in the connection at this time. Where you can detach from all levels of expectation that they're going to be the person they've always been, whether that's been a runner or a chaser, or that has been someone who always, picks up the pieces when you guys have a falling out, or always implodes things. Expect new at this time. There's no way for any of us to walk through this energy and be the same person that we have always been. Even those who identify in extreme ends of divine feminine exclusive or divine masculine exclusive energy have some trickle, modicum, small spark of masculine energy in them that will be changing at this time. Allow it. Now, if you've identified in some format of separation or masculine energy exclusively, you may find that you're now attracted to someone or something new than what you've previously found attractive about your counterpart. In this energy, you may find you're drawn to a different kind of person or even open to a different kind of connection. This will only heighten as we get into the full moon in Sagittarius in 2 weeks' time. The name of the game here is curiosity. It is exploration as this picks up and moves you into the next chapter and season of connection. Big changes happening for all twins at this time. Everyone who considers themselves activated and called by love, you are going to find that this season is dominated by a sense of newness and unfamiliar, and that's okay. The interesting thing about this is that I'm being shown that it's like our live streams are the platform for collective or humanity's collective change. This is something I've been shown since the beginning of the year, that there's this union with the collective unfolding for twins at this time, as opposed to this kind of like separate conversation we've been having over here off to the side by ourselves. Um, this is where we are starting to see our lives be the platform that facilitates collective shifts. It's through us that collective evolution is unfolding and collective timelines are shifting. There's nothing we need to do about it, but just continue following our own inner guidance from source and allowing other people to do the same, allowing allowing, allowing. I cannot overemphasize this enough. Where there is gripping and control, you are going to find rebellion is what you're greeted with. There's a definite sense of of being in a new chapter collectively with this new moon, as it's the first new moon outside the 2-year union window we all just came through. So rather than looking for things to be the same, look for your person, or looking for your person to be who they used to be, looking for your life to be what it used to be. Get comfortable with the new and the next. That's what Uranus is all about, new and next. And we're getting exponential new and next with Jupiter conjunct Uranus at this new moon. Okay. If you need any help identifying your personal access points to union in this new chapter before the next union window opens, great time to book. You can find me over at kmoonastro.com. If you're experiencing some newness, let me know about it in the comments. I'd love to hear some of your stories. I think it'll also be enhancing and encouraging for anyone who may be struggling with this new energy. Thank you for all your likes, comments, shares, and subscribes. I look forward to seeing you at the full moon in Sagittarius. And if you listen to the Lightworker Energy Update, and you really miss the parts of it that are about these other planets and what they happen to be up to at each lunation, just let me know. There's a chance, if enough people ask for it, I'll pop on next week with an update for you guys about that then. Okay, thanks everybody. Take great care. I love you guys. Bye for now.